Have you ever walked past someone living on the streets without even looking at them? I have, because one day I became that person. Many years ago, people crossed the street to avoid me. Today, they invite me to speak on stages around the world. I didn't become a millionaire because I was lucky. I became one because one promise changed everything. This isn't just the story of how I made millions. It's the story of how, as a homeless 17-year-old boy with absolutely nothing left, I found one reason to keep living. If you're struggling with life right now, don't skip this story. Because before this video ends, you may never look at another homeless person the same way again. My name is David. I'm 80 years old. If you saw me today, you'd probably think I had everything anyone could ever dream of. I own a successful company. I live in a beautiful home overlooking the Pacific Ocean. My bank account holds more money than I ever imagined possible. But none of that tells you who I really am. The truth is, I was homeless. Not because I made bad choices, not because I was lazy. I was just a frightened 17-year-old boy who had lost everything. I still come back to this beach whenever I need a moment of peace. I'm here today, watching the waves roll onto the shore reminds me of a promise I made many years ago. A promise that changed my life forever. The ocean has always fascinated me. No matter how strong the storm becomes, the waves never stop returning. Again and again. I wanted to be like those waves. No matter how many times life knocked me down. I wanted to keep coming back, but there was a time when I wasn't sure I had the strength to do it. I grew up in a small apartment in Seattle with my parents. We weren't rich. Far from it. But our little home was filled with laughter. My father worked long hours as a city bus driver. My mother was a librarian who believed books could heal almost anything. Every night before bed, my mother would hand me another novel and say, a person can lose money, a house, even friends, but nobody can ever steal what's inside your mind. At the time, I thought she was simply talking about school.
Years later, I realized she was teaching me how to survive. Everything changed just 2 weeks after my 16th birthday.
It was raining harder than I had ever seen. My father kissed my mother goodbye before leaving for work. He smiled at me.
See you tonight, champ. Those were the last words I ever heard from my father. That morning, a drunk driver ran a red light. My father never made it home. One careless decision changed our lives forever. After my father died, silence filled our apartment.
My mother tried to stay strong. She still smiled whenever she looked at me, but I could always see the pain behind her eyes.
My mother started working 2 jobs just to keep us going. Every evening she came home exhausted. Sometimes she fell asleep at the kitchen table before finishing dinner. I wanted to help, so I found small jobs after school.
I mowed lawns, delivered groceries, washed cars. Every dollar I earned went into a small coffee can we kept above the refrigerator.
It wasn't much. But every Friday, my mother would hug me and whisper, "I'm proud of you, David." Those words meant more to me than money ever could. For almost 2 years, we somehow survived. Then life hit us again. My mother collapsed while shelving books at the library.
At first, she insisted it was only exhaustion, but the doctors found something much worse. She had advanced heart disease. She needed treatment we simply couldn't afford. Medical bills arrived faster than we could keep up with them. One by one, unpaid notices covered our kitchen counter. Then came the eviction letter. I remember standing outside our apartment with 2 trash bags holding everything we still owned. Our furniture was gone. Our memories stayed behind those locked doors forever. My mother looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "I'm sorry." She thought she had failed me. She hadn't. She had given me something far more valuable than a home. She taught me kindness, courage, and hope. For a while, we stayed in shelters. Some nights we slept in churches. Other nights we slept wherever we could find a safe place. I told my mother everything would be okay, even when I didn't believe my own words. Then, one cold November morning, I woke up alone.
A volunteer gently placed a hand on my shoulder. His eyes were filled with sadness before he spoke.
"David, your mother passed away during the night. It felt like the entire world stopped breathing." I didn't cry. I couldn't. My heart had gone completely numb. Within a single year, I had lost my father, my mother, and my home. And every place that had ever felt safe. I was 17 years old, completely alone. That night, I wandered through downtown Seattle until the city lights faded into the darkness. People hurried past me. Some looked away. Some people pretended I didn't exist. A few looked at me with pity, but no one stopped.
No one asked if I had eaten. No one asked where I would sleep. To them, I was just another homeless kid sitting on a sidewalk. Invisible.
I found a piece of cardboard behind a grocery store and laid it beneath the awning of a closed shop. The concrete beneath me was freezing. Cars rushed past all night.
Rainwater dripped from the roof beside my head. I wrapped my thin jacket tighter around myself.
I stared into the dark sky, For the first time in my life, I truly believed I had nothing left. I closed my eyes and whispered, "Mom, I don't know how to survive this." I had no idea that when the sun rose the next morning, my life was about to change forever.
The next morning, I woke up before sunrise. The cold had settled deep into my bones. My stomach felt like it was twisting itself into knots.
I hadn't eaten in almost 2 days. At first, I tried pretending I wasn't hungry, but hunger does disappear. Just because you ignore it, it only gets louder. Eventually, I walked behind a grocery store.
Near the dumpsters, I saw bags filled with food that had been thrown away. I looked around to make sure no one was watching. Then I started searching. Bruised apples, half a loaf of bread, a sealed bottle of water.
To most people, it was garbage. To me, it was breakfast. As I sat on the curb eating stale bread,
People walked by without slowing down. Some avoided looking at me. Others frowned as if my existence made them uncomfortable. One businessman covered his nose as he walked past. A mother quietly pulled her young son closer. Nobody asked my name.
people stopped seeing me as a person. I became part of the background, invisible.
Days turned into weeks. Every morning became a search for food. Every evening became a search for somewhere safe to sleep. I quickly learned that surviving on the streets required constant caution. Trusting the wrong person could cause everything.
Everything. I picked up every small job I could find. I carried heavy boxes for shop owners, swept sidewalks, loaded delivery trucks.
I cleaned restaurant kitchens after closing. Sometimes I earned $20. Sometimes only a sandwich.
Either way, I never complained. Work meant survival. But not everyone was honest. More than once, someone promised to pay me after the job was finished.
After hours of hard work, they simply walked away. One construction worker laughed in my face and said, "You should be grateful I even gave you something to do." He never paid me a single dollar. Another shop owner accused me of stealing tools I had never touched.
He threatened to call the police unless I disappeared. So I left, hungry and feeling smaller than ever.
Little by little, I began losing faith in people. I told myself kindness didn't exist anymore.
I was sitting alone on a park bench, trying to stay dry beneath a broken umbrella. An elderly man slowly walked toward me. His clothes were simple. His shoes were worn, but his eyes carried a kindness I hadn't seen in years. Instead of walking past me, he stopped. He sat beside me. Without saying a word, he handed me a warm paper bag. Inside was a fresh sandwich, an apple, and a hot cup of coffee. If this story means something to you, please like this video and subscribe. It truly helps this channel grow. Now, let's continue. I stared at him in disbelief. "Why are you helping me?" I asked quietly. The old man smiled. Then he said something I have never forgotten. "Your circumstances are temporary, but the person you choose to become, that's permanent." Those words echoed inside my mind long after he walked away. I didn't know it then, but that one sentence was about to change the direction of my entire life.
The next morning, I went back to the same park. I hoped I might see the old man again, but he was gone. All that remained were his words.
Your circumstances are temporary, but the person you choose to become, that's permanent. For the first time in months, I stopped asking, why is this happening to me? Instead, I asked, what can I do today to change tomorrow? That single question changed everything. I walked through downtown Seattle looking for work. Most people turned me away the moment they saw my worn clothes. No experience, no openings. Try somewhere else. By late afternoon, I had almost given up. Then I noticed a small family-owned bakery.
An elderly woman was struggling to carry several heavy flour bags. Without thinking, I rushed over and helped her.
I just wanted to help, I replied. She looked at me for a long moment.
Then she asked, "Can you start tomorrow morning?" I could hardly believe what I had heard. That tiny bakery became my first real job.
Every morning before sunrise, I swept the floors, mixed dough, cleaned tables, loaded bread onto delivery shelves. The work was exhausting, but every evening I went to the public library. Not because I had homework, because I had a dream. I borrowed books about business, money, leadership, success. Sometimes I studied until the librarian switched off the lights. Then I walked back to the shelter carrying nothing except hope. Weeks became months. Slowly, people at the bakery began trusting me. The owner even handed me a spare key one morning. "I know you'll take care of this place." No one had trusted me with anything in a very long time. That simple key meant more than he could ever imagine. Then came Friday, my first payday. The owner placed a small envelope into my hands. I stared at it for several seconds before opening it. It wasn't a fortune, but it was the first honest paycheck I had ever earned. For the first time in years, I felt proud of myself. Instead of spending it all, I bought only what I truly needed. The rest went into a small savings jar hidden beneath my bed at the shelter. Every week, the jar became a little heavier. So did my confidence. For the first time since losing my parents, I began believing that maybe
Just maybe, my future could be different. The dreams that once seemed impossible slowly started feeling real. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was building something, one small step at a time. I thought life was finally moving in the direction. I believed the hardest days were behind me. I was wrong. Because one ordinary afternoon, I lost everything all over again. I thought my life was finally turning around. Then one rainy Tuesday, the bakery closed its doors for good. The owner gathered all of us together. His eyes were filled with tears. "I'm so sorry," he said. "I can't keep this business alive anymore." Just like that, my job was gone. Within weeks. I thought I had already faced the worst life could offer. I was wrong. What happened next changed my life forever. Continue watching in part 2.